Hello and welcome to the training room. I'm Ira Joe Fisher with my dear friend Dr. Don Teague, and together we have put together this program that we hope will attract gazillion viewers and also enhance your life from a health standpoint and also from an athletic performance standpoint. Hello, Dr. Don Teague.
Hello, Ira Joe Fisher. It is a pleasure to be partnering with you in this project.
Well, my pleasure. And we've already begun an audio portion of the program, and this is our inaugural video portion. And how exciting is this? You know, Don, you and I go back, oh gosh, 100 or so years. And it all began with our both living in Connecticut. You had a radio show. You invited me to be on your radio show, and our friendship began at that point. And you also are one heck of an optometrist, and you've helped me greatly with my eye situation down through the years. Let's talk about our backgrounds. I'm just so blown away, and I need to look at my list of things here. Don, you have consulted for, worked with, treated Major League Baseball teams, the National Basketball Association, the NHL, which I think would be a much better game if they'd get rid of the goalie, but that's just a personal opinion. You've worked also with the National Football League. You've worked with tennis pros, golf pros, and Olympic athletes. My goodness, what a history you have in this wonderful world of sports.
Well, when I got into the world of eye care, it really hit me that the vision of an athlete is so critical to their success. And that's what opened up this door for me to pioneer this field of what we now, if you want to give it a big fancy term, we call visual neurocognitive motor training. Or in other words, you see the ball, you hit the ball.
To quote Yogi Berra there. Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely avoided mentioning that term because I wanted to, in this interview, stay with things that I could pronounce, Don. So there you go. So you are involved with this. You approached me about this. Oh, and by the way, when we did a wonderful publicity tour on Facebook and showed some examples, played some examples of our early training rooms, I heard from a lot of people in my hometown of Little Valley, New York, where I grew up and with whom I grew up. And they said, what are you doing in the world of conditioning and athletics? They know my history rather intimately. And the point is, because I'm a broadcaster, I love communicating. And that's the reason that I got involved with this. But you have an even deeper involvement in this world I'm talking about, Don, and I'm impressed.
Well, thank you, Ira. Don't sell yourself short, because I know that when I need to know something about some minutia relating to the game of baseball, all I need to do is pick up the phone and call you, and I'm right there with the answer, even if it's not correct. But most times it is.
Bless your heart. Well, there are those who play the game, and there are those who love the game and read about it, and I would fall into the latter category there. So there you go.
This might be a good time for me to talk about my partner in this production, Ira Joe Fisher. I mean, we've been sort of hanging on my background, but man, you have got an incredible background. Ira Joe Fisher, broadcaster, poet, actor, educator. Now, Ira, for those who don't know, you hosted radio and TV programs in New York, I know Cincinnati, because that goes way back, and even in Washington. And you were a regular on CBS early show for quite a while. And I had the pleasure of watching you on Broadway in a wonderful role in The Fantastics, among other things. I know you also, and I'm just looking at your list here now because it's quite impressive. You performed the role of Henry VIII, not the seventh. Henry VIII in the musical The Prince and the Pauper at New York City's Lambs Theater. And you were also in the film California Girls with Robbie Benson and the late Regis Philbin. And just not to leave certain things out, you've written a few books on poetry, collections of essays. In fact, I just had the pleasure of reading your latest book, which is called, of all things, Wide and Wavy, out of Salamanca, that beautiful little town in upstate New York. And in your spare time, I know you also teach poetry and writing at the University of Connecticut and at Mercy College and Dobbs Ferry. So you're not just sitting around twiddling your thumbs.
Well, you're very kind, and some of what you've just shared with us is true. So I'm very flattered. I'm very flattered. You know what? I made a vow to myself when I was a young lad and had dark hair, Don. I promised that I would never be bored. And for the most part, I have kept that promise to myself. And a way for me to effectively avoid boredom on a regular basis is by being a voracious reader. So that has served my life and served my vow to never be bored very, very wonderfully. But you know what? In all seriousness, my pursuit in life really centers around friendship, and yours is among the treasures of friendship that I have known. So this was an easy project to become involved with because it frankly meant spending more time in your company, albeit in this strange age we live in. You're in Florida right now. I'm in Connecticut. Yet here we are on the same TV screen talking about this wonderful pursuit of the training room. And how exciting is that?
Yeah, I mean, just the term, the training room alone, it's such a wide variety of subject matter that we can possibly put together on this. And proud to say that as of this recording, we already have 29 audio podcasts that are available to people on our website, which is thetrainingroom.tv, or they can go to Apple Podcasts and look for The Training Room, Stars, Sports, Science, because we plan on covering all of those things. And Ira, again, not to play your role as a sports fanatic too lightly, I think you and I both bring many of the things you pointed out to the table, and that we are the kind of people who don't just sit around. We're always actively involved. We read a lot. We're up to date on things, and maybe probably as much so on what we used to call the sports pages, which now are more on the computer screen. But I was just thought it would be a good idea now to talk about where we see this training room concept going. And I'll just start pointing out some things that we intend to include. You already know about our audio podcast, but we are now, starting with this video, embarking on video casts. We have several exciting ones planned in the very near future. And we think we're going to start it all off with one very relevant topic, which is, what is the training room? And we're going to invite anywhere from 6 to 8 professional athletic trainers to discuss the training room yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So that will be our next video cast. And then ultimately we will have a YouTube video station. We also hope to have training clubs where if you want to work on your putting game in golf or any athletic or training facility, whether it be weightlifting or anything relating to strength, health, fitness, we're going to have clubs that are going to allow you to do that. And there really is no limit to the kinds of things we can offshoot from this whole concept of the training room. So as you can tell, and I know you feel the same way, we're really excited about where we're going to take the training room.
Absolutely, Don. And what is real inspiration are your many connections in the sports world. My goodness, you know, trainers on so many professional teams, you have a friendship with them. And so we're looking forward to touching base with them and also with some athletes along the way. Oh, and by the way, speaking of books, you're an author as well of High Performance Vision. I neglected to mention that earlier and want to do that now. You're also involved with a Lloyd Price Broadway musical project, Lawdy Miss Claudy, and how exciting that is too. So the training room is not limited to athletics. It goes beyond the frame in which we're enclosed here on this conversation. It goes beyond the frame in which you see us into the world at large, and how fun it is, the prospect of entering that world and talking about it and seeing examples of people involved in athletics, but also in a larger sense involved in life. That's pretty cool.
It really is. You know what? This is probably a good time for us to really get going on the training room. So maybe with one final reminder, go to the training room on Apple Podcasts, Stars Sports Science, and please check on subscribe. It costs you nothing to do that, and you can then become a member of this growing community that we hope to bring to a tremendous level. Everybody, we're moving on.
Thanks, Don.